Welcome to my car, and welcome to Salamanders of the World, Episode 1. In this series, we're going to be covering every species of salamander, alphabetically and taxonomically. So we're starting off with ambystomatidae. We're starting off with ambystomatidae first. This family has two genuses. We're going ambystoma, and we're going dicamptodon. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the first three species alphabetically: Ambystoma aldermani, Ambystoma andersoni, and Ambystoma amblycephalum. These guys are all part of the Mexican ambystoma complex, which is a pretty confusing group, honestly. A lot of them are like pretty much the same thing, just in different locations. So let's start off with the first species, Ambystoma aldermani. By the end of this video, I'm gonna be blind. This flashes in my eyes. This species is found in and around streams their entire life, but they do actually metamorphosize into terrestrial adults. They got pretty interesting coloration going on. They kind of got like a blotchy sort of thing going on, with kind of a light olive color background with darker blotches on them. But some of them actually have a dark background with lighter blotches on them. They kind of just like to switch things up a little bit. This coloration is actually heavily associated with the color of the substrate. These guys actually prefer darker substrates like mud, not only because it provides a place for them to hide, but also because it closely matches their background coloration. And so these guys will actually purposely look for a specific color of substrate to be able to hide better from predators better. Using this knowledge about their preference for substrate can actually be used to find them easier. These guys are native to central Mexico, more specifically on the Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt, kind of in the Mexico City area, which is actually a big problem for their conservation. Because these guys rely on such a unique, pristine sort of stream habitat, they really like vegetation and mud, little pools that they can chill out in, and the urbanization of this area has created really scattered and isolated patches of habitat, which, kind of just singles them out and knocks them off due to other reasons like pollution, introduction of invasive fish species like trout, and the locals will actually eat them and collect them to eat, which is another thing that will get them fucking miata over there. Which, maybe they're hella yummable. Maybe. So my phone just ran out of storage. So we're going to be filming this on my laptop now. So yeah, maybe these salamanders make good little snacks. I can't be hating on another person's little snackable preference. That's kind of it, honestly. Yeah, they're considered endangered because of all these threats. Pretty chill salamanders. They be laying their eggs in like June on emergent vegetation, which is pretty basic, honestly. But to each is their own. These guys just gotta get things done, apparently. The next species that we're going to be talking about today is Ambystoma amblycephalum, which is, I think, the blunt-headed salamander. These guys are native to This is also for the previous species. These guys are found at really high elevations, up to 8,000 feet above sea level, which kind of goes to show how different tree lines are, different latitudes, because up here in Washington, 8,000 feet is like alpine type shit. Down there it's just like tropical pine scrub. These guys are found in ponds in this area. They also prefer mud substrate and vegetation to chill out in, and also is just cover. The area that they're in is very heavily modified by human activity. It's been really f***ed up. These guys were discovered in the 1940s and actually weren't even seen until like 2018, I think. After that, they're considered extinct by some, actually. I know they were rediscovered in 2018 in this like cattle pond, just kind of chilling out there, I guess. That could be the last population, who knows? They honestly aren't much different than some of the other species around them, like Ambystoma flavipara paratum, which some actually just combine. But for conservation purposes and certain morphological features, there are considered different species. Like these guys actually have like a lot of teeth, apparently, more than double some of the species around them. I don't know why they need that many teeth. I guess they just munch harder. They're on the munch grind. Terrestrial adults are usually pretty dark in coloration, usually just got some like small little light blotches kind of thrown around. They're critically endangered because of this, because of the vibe around them, and you know, that's pretty much their vibe. The last species that we're gonna be talking about today is Ambystoma andersoni, and these guys are really pretty. Honestly, probably one of my favorite ambystoma species. They have a really, just really striking reticulated pattern. They're found in one lake in Michoacan. This lake is called Lake Zacapu. These guys actually do not metamorphosize in the wild. They will in the lab. I don't know why they kind of choose to do that in the lab for some reason. But in the wild, you're not going to be finding these guys on land. They're always going to be in the water with gills, just swimming around. These guys are also found at higher latitudes and love hanging out in vegetation. In fact, there was like an invasive grass species outbreak on a part of the lake, and they kind of digged this, apparently, and kind of thrived in this increased vegetation. And the lake itself is pretty polluted, apparently, and is not protected. So a lot of captive breeding programs are actually done in order to kind of help the species, and I think they're relatively common in the pet trade too. These guys are pretty much like premium axolotls, and in a couple episodes we're actually be talking about probably one of the coolest pedomorphic ambystoma, way better than axolotls. These guys are a vibe. We're gonna be talking about those though in a couple episodes. You gotta stay tuned for that. That's honestly kind of it. If you're interested in salamanders and you're trying to support the salamander gang, a salamander squad, salamander team, keep up with the following episodes, which will improve in quality as time goes on. We're gonna be getting some pretty crazy shit going on in this show. We're gonna be talking about every species of salamander, kind of get all this information condensed into one area online. It'll change your life.